that Revit is installed on our computers, we're ready to go. To open Revit, just double-click on the icon on your desktop. This opening screen in front of us here is the screen that will open when you first go into Revit. Any projects that you have been working on in the past will appear in this section here once you've been working on some, but because this is the first time we have opened up this new version of Revit on our computers, it is just showing the sample projects that are there. If you're wanting to open a project that isn't shown there, or you're wanting to start a new project, then we go over to this side of the screen. Now, as per the learning materials, we need to open a specific template to base our own templates on. And as you remember, when we went through the installation process for this version of Revit, we had to download the Australian library separately. So when we click on New here, it will come up with a series of options, predetermined options, for the template file that we can use. However, in versions past, this would have automatically come with the Australian templates all set up, because that was how the previous versions worked. Because we have downloaded the Australian library separately to installing Revit itself, it has come up with just its standard templates there, which are more suited to foreign countries. So they don't, if we were to use one of those templates, it wouldn't have brick veneer walls and other things that we commonly use in our construction. So what we need to do is, rather than using one of these template files, we need to click on Browse and find the Australian template file to use. So as you can see, it's opened us straight up into the English Imperial file. So we go up one level and you will find that Australia isn't there, but if we click on this English folder here, it will have some of the files that are from the Australian library. They are the ones with AUS in the names. So this one here is the construction file, which we won't be using. Then there's two default files here, and then there's a couple of other files down further that have all got Australian in the name. We are going to double click on this one here called Default AUS ENU-Loaded. So double click on that folder, and that is the file, the template file, that we are now going to base our project template on. So now we look at this next box down here. It says that we can either create a project file or we can create a project template. If we were to select Create a Project File, it will use this template here and then just open up a standard project based on that template with all of the settings that are in that template loaded in. And that project file will have the ending in the file name of .rvt. But we don't want to start off with the project file. What we want to do is create our own template file, personalized with things in it that we know we're going to need to do these assessments in this unit and in other units in the course. So we want to create our own project template file. And by saving it as a project template file, the ending in the file name will become .rte. And that's one way that you can know whether you are dealing with a project file or a project template file, is by the ending of the file name. So click on the dot next to project template file. Make sure you've got this particular file here selected. If you don't have this one selected, you will find that there are certain items, such as the brick veneer wall, that you won't be able to find in your template file when we go to make some amendments to it. And then select OK. So now we have opened up our own template file, and the first thing we want to do is to save it. So click on File up the top, click on Save As, and we're saving it as a template. You'll find that some of these names are actually blanked out, or grayed out I should say, so you can't save it as a project. We have definitely opened it as a template file. So click on Template, and then find somewhere on your computer where you wish to save this. And for the name, use your name. and then Template. Remember where you are saving this so that you know where to find it later on. And select Save. So you'll see up here that the file name has changed to what you've just saved it to. It has the .rte at the end, which indicates it's a template file, and you are now ready to start working through all of the topics in Topic 3 in the learning materials to personalize this template file.